Hi everyone, this is Tammy, owner of Worthyworthitpriceless, and today's podcast is titled God Set You Apart to Set You Up for Victory. And I came with that analysis. I was thinking about Joseph from the Bible, and I was also thinking about my own life. Now, for the story of Joseph, you're definitely going to have to read the Bible because I know the story, but I'm not good at really telling the story. So I'll paraphrase. So um, Joseph was envied by his brothers, things like that. And one day they ended up had a plot to basically kill him. Long story short, and very long story short. So a lot of stuff happened. God blessed him. God was always with him. And what ended up happening was when there was a famine in the land, he was basically over in control of everything. And he was able to bless his family. Now that is paraphrase, my version. Please read the Bible if you really want to know how it really goes. But I realized that same thing with our own lives, and my life in particular. My parents divorced when I was like 11 I was like a month or two away from being 12 years old. And so I was split up from my brothers. One came with us, but something happened. He ended up going back to Georgia. Long story short, I didn't grow up with my brothers. And that story alone, I'm like, man, like nobody that I know has that type of a story. Like everybody really grows up with their siblings. Like for the most part, they may not stay with both parents, but at least, they're with their siblings. And what I realized is that if my parents possibly would have stayed together, I wouldn't be who I am right now. I wouldn't be doing any of the things for the most part. Because a lot of things that I learned it in Western New York. And I learned them from a lot of things from my grandmother from that was up here. God rest her soul. But the thing is that more than likely, like if I would have stayed in Georgia, I wouldn't have had the same experience. And so a lot of times we get upset or we get angry at God. Like, why does my life have to be like this? Why does my life have to be so hard? Why do I have to go through this? I don't want to have to go through this. This is getting on my nerves, this, that, and the third. However, you have your conversation with God. But I would like to help you and possibly change your mind and change your perspective. Don't always look at situations in the negative light, like why me? Why do I have to go through this and this, that, and the third? Could it be that God is setting you up for victory? There is something inside of you that is so special. There's something inside of you that God needs for you to do. He needs for you to be basically a light to the world. But a lot of times you can't have everyone around you distracting you. And what he's doing is he's cultivating you. He's purging the things out of you that is not needed for the next season. And I know that you can't see it right now, but just trust the process. There's certain things, habits that you might need to get cleaned off of you before you get to the next level. Myself as an example. Previously, in my other former life, but before God really worked on me, I actually had a bad attitude. Like I'm positive, of course, but at the end of the day, it was like so many things happened in my life that I basically kind of had like a bad attitude. It wasn't like with everyone. It's like if I knew you, it wasn't a problem type of thing. But sometimes it was just even within me. Not saying that I always had a bad attitude towards other people, because a lot of times I really didn't talk. So that's a totally different story. But it was just even within me. I was carrying a lot of hurt, damage, and pain. And I possibly didn't know how to express it or whatever. And it wasn't until now that I realized that God was, even in everything that has happened to me, he was cleaning me off and washing me off to be who I really was. And a lot of times we don't realize that we're just holding on to hurt and pain over the years, and it changes us. It makes us be someone that we really are not. And that is something that I want you guys once again to look at, because a lot of times we're like, man, why do I have to go through this? Why didn't that friendship work? Why didn't that relationship work? This, that, and the third. But it is because God had set you apart, or set you away from people, or break you apart from people that weren't basically good for you. God knows the conversations that people had behind your back. He knows their true intentions, even though we would possibly want to stay with someone who's toxic, or somebody that's not really there for us like they should be. And God is like, no, like, I have something so special for you. And it's not that he's trying to do anything against you or harm you or hurt you. He's setting you up for victory. You know, when you were younger and you had like that boyfriend or girlfriend that you thought that you were going to be with for the rest of your life, and your grandparents or your mom like, oh, that's puppy love and this, that, and the third. And in your mind, what did you feel? I'll never love somebody like I love that person. Some of you guys don't even remember who that person's name was. Some of you do. But for the most part, now you realize that, you know what? You did have more love after that. You were able to, like, God was able to heal your heart, and you were able to love again or smile again after that puppy love situation. So that's the same thing that God is doing in your life. He's setting you up for better. Although you can't see it right now, doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It's just you're still in the process of him cleaning you off and washing you off. But once you get there, you're going to see, you know what, everything that I went through was worth it. And God is setting you up so you can be prosperous. But you'll never get there if you just quit or complain and say, God, why me? Certain things is why not you. God knows what he has placed on the inside of you. It just needs to come out. It's not going to come out the way that you want it to come out, but it's going to come out in the way that God had ordained it to come out. It's all about perspective. Change your mindset. I know that whatever you're going through right now, it may not be easy. It's probably difficult. Like we was talking about the story with Joseph. His family, his brothers basically wanted to kill him. They put him in just basically like a ditch or something and left him there to basically die. And they set him up. They sold him to other people. Like, you know what I mean? They sold him off. But what did God do? He changed it around. He was with him the whole time. And in turn, what did he do? He ended up blessing his family. God put him into a position where he was able to bless his family. So we're always worrying and saying, well, God, why me? This, that, and the third. Once again, more than likely, it's because God is setting you apart from other people, changing your story, or making, even if your story is a little hard, it's all about your testimony. It's your testimony that's going to help someone else. Your story is going to be like someone else's, that somebody else is going to need to hear your story so that they can keep going. Just like a lot of you guys. I went through a lot of stuff so I can give you guys the encouragement so y'all can keep going. And so it just keeps going, like paying it forward type of thing. So I hope that made sense. And I hope it gives you encouragement. Change your perspective. I know what you're going through isn't easy, but it's all worth it in the end. And everything that you're going through, is going to make you victorious in the end. Don't give up on yourself. Everything is going to work out. Always know that you have worth, you have value, you are necessary on this earth. You are worthy, worth it, and priceless. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. And until next time, bye.